thousands of Americans who've been touched by mesothelioma? If you or a loved one was diagnosed with mesothelioma, it's likely that direct or indirect exposure to asbestos is to blame. Symptoms of mesothelioma can take 30 to 50 years to appear. So even if you were exposed to asbestos many years ago, it may still be to blame. The dangers of asbestos have been reported in the U.S. as early as 1918, and while there is undeniable proof that many companies in the asbestos industry knew the risks, many failed to protect their workers from its deadly effects. If you're a victim of mesothelioma, don't wait to take action. Fight back. Start planning for you and your family's future today. It all starts with a simple phone call to our office. Put our 30 years of experience to work for you. Calls are confidential. Call 1-800-630-0820 now. That's 1-800-630-0820. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson for James Sokolove, Wellesley, Mass.
I'm a paid non-attorney spokesperson. Attention knee replacement patients. Have you had knee replacement surgery? Some knee replacement systems may have higher failure rates than others. If you or a loved one experienced complications after a knee replacement and you had corrective surgery or a doctor recommended you have additional surgery, you may be entitled to compensation. Call 1-800-476-1843 for a free legal consultation. Again, that's 1-800-476-1843.
Attention women, have you used NuvaRing? A recent study shows that using NuvaRing may increase your risk for severe blood clots. If you or a loved one used NuvaRing and suffered from deep vein thrombosis, pulmonary embolism, or had a stroke, you may be entitled to compensation.
Call 1-800-254-2128 now for a free legal consultation. Again, that's 1-800-254-2128. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
You or a loved one has taken Cymbalta for chronic pain? Listen closely. Patients who stop taking Cymbalta may suffer withdrawal symptoms, including seizures, tingling skin sensations, and painful electric sensations in the brain, known as brain shocks. If you stop taking Cymbalta and suffered from withdrawal, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolove Law now, 1-800-461-7539 for your free legal consultation. That's 1-800-461-7539.
Population remains at risk. A recent joint report issued by the CDC and the National Cancer Institute announced 3,200 cases of mesothelioma are diagnosed every year. That's basically 8 new mesothelioma victims every day due to asbestos exposure decades ago. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call the number on your screen now. You may be entitled to a portion of $30 billion in trust money set aside to pay out claims to asbestos victims. You could receive compensation without ever going to court or filing a lawsuit. Exposure to asbestos decades ago is still causing fatalities. Thousands of hardworking men and women continue to be diagnosed with the deadly cancer mesothelioma. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed, call now to see if you're eligible for a portion of $30 billion in trust money set aside to pay asbestos victims. State laws limit the time to file an asbestos claim, and if time runs out, you'll never be able to file a claim.
Call 1-800-561-5934, 1-800-561-5934, 1-800-561-5934.
Diagnosed with lung cancer? If so, we urge you to call the number on your screen now for a free legal consultation. Some lung cancers, along with the other cancers listed on your screen, may be linked to asbestos exposure. Exposure to asbestos in mills, factories, or while working as a plumber, electrician, plasterer, maintenance worker, or janitor may have put you at risk. In addition, because asbestos was widely used on ships, those working in shipyards, including Navy veterans, may have also been exposed. Asbestos has been used in many commercial applications, including insulation, fireproof fabrics, automotive parts, building materials, and small kitchen appliances. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with lung cancer or another asbestos-related cancer, call now for a free legal consultation. You may be entitled to compensation.
Call 1-800-807-5173. Again, that's 1-800-807-5173. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson for James Sokolove, Wellesley, Mass.
Attention mesothelioma victims. Will you be able to pay for treatment? You may be eligible for compensation to help cover the high cost of life-extending care. Call now if you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma or lung cancer. Unpaid medical bills can pile up. Many victims drain their life savings to pay for medical treatments. An estimated $30 billion in trust money has been set aside to help those with asbestos-related cancer. Financial help may only be a phone call away. Call 1-800-859-2400 now for a free legal consultation. That's 1-800-859-2400.
If you or a loved one developed cancer after surgery to remove uterine fibroids, you may be entitled to compensation. The FDA issued a warning that surgical tools, called power morcellators, can spread deadly uterine cancer. If you or a loved one were diagnosed with cancer after having surgery to remove uterine fibroids, call Sokolove Law now, 1-800-416-5361 for your free legal consultation. That's 1-800-416-5361. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Cancer survivors, if your hair has not grown back months after finishing chemotherapy, listen closely. Taxotere is a chemotherapy drug used to treat breast cancer and has been linked to permanent hair loss, also known as permanent alopecia. While temporary hair loss during treatment is common, you may not have been warned that your hair loss could be permanent. Permanent hair loss has been associated with this drug for years, but the manufacturer only recently updated their warning label in the U.S. with this information. The emotional damage caused by permanent hair loss can destroy a woman's self-image and quality of life. If your hair never grew back after chemotherapy for breast cancer, you may be entitled to compensation for your suffering.
Call Sokolove Law now at 1-800-254-9204 for a free legal consultation. That's 1-800-254-9204. Again, that's 1-800-254-9204. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Attention! If you had surgery to repair a hernia, listen closely. A certain type of hernia mesh has recently been recalled after 2 studies showed higher rates of hernias reopening and additional surgeries compared to other meshes. This product may cause severe health problems, including pain, swelling, bowel obstructions, infections, mesh failure, hernia recurrence, and other health issues. If you or a loved one had hernia repair surgery in 2006 or later and suffered complications that required additional surgery, you may be entitled to compensation. Even if you're unsure which brand was used in your surgery, you may still be eligible for compensation. Call Sokolove Law now at 1-800-550-2393 for a free legal consultation. That's 1-800-550-2393. Again, that's 1-800-550-2393. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson. Farm workers and groundskeepers, the weed killer Roundup contains glyphosate, a chemical now classified as a probable carcinogen by the World Health Organization. Workers exposed to Roundup on the job may be at a higher risk for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. If you or someone you know was exposed to Roundup and diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolove Law now at 1-800-829-8391 for a free legal consultation. That's 1-800-829-8391. I'm a non-attorney. Long-term disability claim was denied. Listen closely. Some insurance companies contracted with an unlicensed physician who was convicted of fraud to perform medical reviews used to determine the outcome of disability claims. If your long-term disability claim was unfairly denied, you may be entitled to compensation.
Call Sokolove Law now at 1-800-644-8617 for a free legal consultation. That's 1-800-644-8617. I'm an advertisement for legal services.
We know. Seemingly overnight, family and friends are staying away. We also know if you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, moving forward may seem too difficult during these unprecedented and confusing times. We're here to help. Sokolove Law is available to you 24/7, providing uninterrupted service. From the comfort of your home, you can call us or even video chat with our legal team and quickly find out if you're eligible for mesothelioma compensation. Because the asbestos trusts are not closed, we can still file claims online, helping some clients begin receiving money within 90 days of talking to us. Even during this crisis, our legal team is here. Please call us, and we can arrange a video conference or phone call with a member of our legal team today. Find out if you're eligible for compensation. Call Sokolove Law at 1-800-459-4504. Again, that's 1-800-459-4504. Call now. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services. Attention! The Nuvasive magic system used to treat scoliosis in children has been linked to painful complications. Rods or other components may break inside the body and lead to bone and tissue damage, metallosis, a type of metal poisoning, or revision surgery. If your child had the magic system to treat scoliosis and suffered complications, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolove Law now. 1-800-586-1726. 1-800-586-1726. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
paid advertisement for legal services. If you or a loved one has mesothelioma or been diagnosed with another asbestos-related cancer, call now. An estimated $30 billion in court-ordered trusts have been set aside to pay out claims to asbestos victims. You may be able to receive compensation without ever going to court or filing a lawsuit. Thousands of hardworking men and women have been diagnosed with mesothelioma because manufacturers put profits ahead of safety. Manufacturers knew the risks of asbestos exposure for years, but knowingly manufactured and sold deadly asbestos-containing materials, putting millions of American workers at risk. These manufacturers have tried to avoid compensating their victims, but the courts have ordered them to set aside an estimated $30 billion in trust money for the victims of asbestos. Call now to see if you're entitled to a portion of the $30 billion. You could receive compensation without filing a lawsuit or going to court. Call 1-800-313-3984 now for a free legal consultation. Again, that's 1-800-313-3984. Services. If you or a loved one has mesothelioma or any other asbestos-related cancer, call now. Asbestos manufacturers sold deadly asbestos materials to thousands of companies, putting workers at risk. An estimated $30 billion in court-ordered trusts have been set aside to pay out claims to asbestos victims. You may be entitled to a portion of these funds and receive compensation without filing a lawsuit or ever going to court. For your free legal consultation, call 1-800-712-7474. That's 1-800-712-7474.